Why Persia became Iran, the untold story. What if one of the most powerful civilizations in human history suddenly disappeared? Not destroyed. Not conquered forever. Just renamed. For thousands of years, the world knew this land as Persia. A kingdom of emperors, poets, warriors, scientists, and massive golden palaces. The empire that challenged Greece. The empire that rivaled Rome. The civilization that helped shape the modern world. But today, we call it Iran. So what happened? Why did Persia disappear from the map? Was it simply a name change, or something much deeper? Because hidden behind that single word, Iran, lies a story of conquest, religion, revolution, identity, and one of the greatest civilizations history almost forgot. Part 1, the birth of Persia. Long before modern nations existed, before Rome, before Alexander the Great, before Christianity or Islam, the Iranian plateau was already home to ancient civilizations. This vast land stretched between deserts, mountains, and trade routes connecting east and west. By the second millennium BCE, two major peoples emerged here, the Medes and the Persians. The Persians settled in a region called Pars, which would later become known to outsiders as Persia. At first, they were just one tribe among many. But then came a man who would change world history forever. Cyrus the Great. To many historians, Cyrus wasn't just a conqueror. He was one of the first rulers in history to understand something revolutionary: people are easier to rule when you respect them. Instead of destroying local cultures, Cyrus allowed conquered peoples to keep their religions, languages, and traditions. At a time when most empires ruled through terror, this was almost unheard of. Under Cyrus, the Persian Empire exploded across the ancient world. It stretched from Egypt to Central Asia. From the borders of India to the Mediterranean Sea. It became the first true superpower in human history. The Persians built massive roads, advanced postal systems, royal cities, and sophisticated governments. And unlike many empires, they didn't try to erase cultural identity. In many ways, Persia was centuries ahead of its time. But then, a young king from Macedonia arrived. And everything changed. Part 2, Alexander versus Persia. His name was Alexander the Great. And he wanted to conquer the world. In 334 BCE, Alexander launched his invasion of Persia. Battle after battle, the Persian Empire began collapsing. Eventually, Alexander defeated the last Achaemenid king. For many civilizations, this would have meant extinction. But Persia was different. Because something unexpected happened. Alexander himself became fascinated by Persian culture. Instead of destroying Persia completely, he adopted parts of it. He wore Persian royal clothing, married Persian princesses, and kept many Persian officials in power. His own soldiers hated it. Some even believed Alexander was becoming too Persian. But Alexander understood something important: Persia was too advanced, too sophisticated, too influential to simply erase. Even after Alexander's death, Persian identity survived. Empires rose and fell. But Persia remained. Quietly adapting. Quietly enduring. Waiting for its next transformation. Part 3, Fire, Empires, and Islam. Centuries later, Persia experienced another rebirth. The powerful Sassanid Empire emerged. And with it came the revival of an ancient religion, Zoroastrianism. To outsiders, it may sound unfamiliar today. But thousands of years ago, Zoroastrianism was one of the most influential religions on earth. It centered around the eternal struggle between good and evil, light and darkness, truth and chaos. Some historians even believe it influenced later Abrahamic religions. Under the Sassanids, Persia once again became a global power. Its cities flourished. Its art, science, and philosophy spread across continents. But in the 7th century, another force appeared from the Arabian Peninsula. Islam. The Arab Islamic conquests transformed the Middle East forever. Persia was conquered. Its old empire collapsed. And gradually, Islam replaced Zoroastrianism across the region. For many civilizations, conquest means cultural death. But once again, Persia survived. Not politically. Not militarily. But culturally. Persian language endured. Persian poetry flourished. Persian scientists, mathematicians, and philosophers became some of the greatest minds of the Islamic Golden Age. Even the conquerors were influenced by Persian culture. And then came another defining moment. The rise of the Safavid dynasty. In the 16th century, the Safavids made Shia Islam the official religion of Persia. That single decision permanently changed the identity of the nation. Even today, it remains one of the major differences between Iran and many neighboring Muslim countries. By now, Persia had transformed many times. Ancient empire. Islamic civilization. Cultural powerhouse. But the biggest change of all was still coming. Part 4, Why Persia Became Iran. For centuries, outsiders called the country Persia. But inside the country itself, many people had always used another name, Iran. The word Iran comes from an ancient term meaning, land of the Aryans. For Persians, Iran wasn't new. It was ancient. But internationally, the Western world still used Persia. Then came the 20th century. And one ambitious ruler wanted change. Reza Shah Pahlavi. Reza Shah wanted to modernize the country rapidly. Railroads. Industry. Military reform. Western-style modernization. But he also wanted something symbolic. He wanted the world to stop seeing his nation through an exotic, colonial lens. To many Europeans, Persia sounded ancient, romantic, almost mythical. But Reza Shah wanted a modern national identity. So in 1935, he formally requested that foreign governments refer to the country as Iran. And slowly, the name Persia disappeared from maps. But not from memory. Because even today, when people hear the word Persia, they often think of poetry, ancient kings, architecture, carpets, and lost empires. While the word Iran often brings to mind politics, nuclear tensions, and modern conflict. Two names. One civilization. And a complicated identity shaped by thousands of years of history. Part 5, Revolution and Modern Iran. Then came 1979. The Iranian Revolution. Led by Ruhollah Khomeini, the monarchy collapsed. Iran transformed once again. This time into an Islamic republic. Relations with the West changed dramatically. And over the following decades, Iran became one of the most controversial nations on earth. For many Americans today, Iran is associated with geopolitics, sanctions, protests, and global tension. But beneath modern headlines lies something much older. A civilization older than most countries on earth. A culture that survived invasions, revolutions, empire collapses, and religious transformation. Persia never truly disappeared. It simply evolved. And maybe that's the real story. Not the story of a nation that vanished, but the story of a civilization that refused to die. Because whether you call it Persia, or Iran, you're still talking about one of the oldest surviving civilizations in human history.